anybody join us, y'all can comment below. Let us know. Try to disconnect and reconnect. Give everybody a couple minutes to come back on. Comment. Let us know if it's a little better now. Got this thing called Mardi Gras going on down here in New Orleans. Apparently, there's a lot of people here. Coach Kim, you got your phone on you? See if you can check. Oh, my phone. Got this thing called Mardi Gras.
Yeah, I got my phone right next to us. We're good, bro.
Cool. All right, guys. We'll give everybody another minute or so. Appreciate it, guys. Again, if y'all can hit the share button. Apologize about that. We'll pick back up with 3-1 once we.
You got your phone on you?
Yeah, I got my phone right next to it.
Turn your sound down. I can hear it.
I got.
There you go. Sounding good. All right, cool. All right, let's go ahead and jump into it. Then go back with the top half of the bracket. You want to go ahead and talk about again what you're talking about. Just catch everybody up with the John Curtis and Liberty Dominican.
Yeah, we were just talking about the John Curtis and C. Bird there, man. Bird went down to St. Joe and got that win. It was a big win for them. I think we predicted that win. But they get the draw like they do for the past 2-3 years in a row, man. They get the draw of John Curtis this time in the second round. And, I think it's just John Curtis is going to be just too much for him. And John Curtis will get that win to advance to the quarters. And then Liberty Dominican, I had turned it over back to you there.
Yeah, man, that's going to be a really fun game. Again, LGR game of the week. Definitely would have considered that one for sure. I might try to swing by there if I can. Trying to get to actually trying to do Warren Easton versus Woodlawn at 3:00. Again, there's a lot going on down here in New Orleans with Mardi Gras and everything, so it's different than a lot of places. Mardi Gras is crazy down here. The kids are out for the whole week, so it's hard to get. Natchitoches Central, Ponchatoula, they're going to have their student and their student body is going to be there. I'm not sure if Dominican's going to have everybody there. It's 2:00 Monday, your first day off. Got parade starting at 5. Like, there's a lot going on. And then again, you look down at the next one. Same thing with Ben Franklin, Mount Carmel. That game's not even going to be at Ben Franklin. It's going to be at McDonald 35. Again, avoiding parade routes and everything else. Like, it's just a lot going on. A little bit bigger gym. It's not really either team's playing at home. Warren Easton is also going to play at McDonald 35. They'll play at 3:00. So it's a lot going on, man. And I guess with that being said, Liberty did beat Dominican in the Sugar Bowl Classic earlier in this year in a great game. Probably one of the best games I've seen all season. And Liberty did that without their starting point guard. So with that being said, I think Liberty goes on the road into Dominican, comes up with the win. Well, they'll play John Curtis in the quarterfinals, and I do think that is a very tough matchup for John Curtis. If I'm John Curtis, I want Dominican to win. We've already beat them by double-digit points. I think Liberty, their size, ability to shoot it, good enough to where you do have to probably respect and play a little bit of man. I think Whitney Hart can have a chance to beat and upset John Curtis in the quarterfinals for the first time in who knows how long. But advancing down to the next one, Ben Franklin, Mount Carmel. That's one that talked about a little bit last time. Mount Carmel and Ben Franklin played the last game of the regular season. Of course, Ben Franklin did win by double digits. They are clearly the better team. But I do think that's something that is interesting where, Mount Carmel played on 2/16. Ben Franklin hasn't played for 10 days. I think that is something that is interesting. That I think that game could be closer than what it was last time. Mount Carmel could have a shot at that one, but definitely going to lean towards Ben Franklin's way. They'll advance, which again is a stellar season for them where they made it to the top 28 for the first time, I think, in school history last year. Lost a lot of players, and a lot of people didn't expect them to be the 5 seed, much less in the quarterfinals. So shout out to them. And then that leaves us with Edna Carr, Scotlandville. I think Scotlandville is just on another level there. I think Scotlandville definitely advances. What's your thoughts, man? Quarterfinal matchups?
Yeah. Man.
This is the winner, Liberty Dominican. Who you got?
Well, if it's Liberty, John Curtis, like you said, is going to be real good. But man, John Curtis is John Curtis, though. You know what I mean? John Curtis is like we said earlier in the year. They were kind of in the back of the pack, middle of the pack until they just got it going. John Curtis is going to be who John Curtis is that we expect him to be every year. And then Scotlandville, Ben Franklin. I'm gonna go Scotlandville there. McDonald, like I said, one of the best pure scorers in the state. You know what I mean? And to go in that environment there in Baton Rouge, East Baton Rouge, is going to be kind of tough for them. So I got John Curtis, Scotlandville in the semis.
Absolutely.
I mean, in the quarters.
Absolutely. And you want to answer Matthew? Who'd you have? Santa Maria, Natchitoches Central. I actually have Santa Maria.
I had Saint Amant.
Yeah,
I had Saint Amant coming up North Louisiana and taking care of business.
Yeah. Great question here as well. So this does happen to match up. Mr. Payton here is asking who you like out of the matchup, John Curtis and Scotlandville. That happens to match up in the semis.
Didn't they play in the semis last season? If I'm not mistaken, I think John Curtis the one that beat Scotlandville last year. Correct?
Was it? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
You're right. Yeah, I think you are right.
Yeah, because Coach called me.
They played in the championship.
Film
actually, I think they played in the championship because I think Scotlandville played McKinley. I don't remember. Somebody can answer that for us. Let us know.
Yeah, I thought it was the semis, but that's gonna be a rematch. However way it was, it's gonna be a rematch, and man, I think Scotlandville's got what it takes, to get back. They're still relatively young, to get back to that game. They got what it takes to make it a competitive game. That's going to be a tough one to pick. You cannot count Scotlandville out on that. Those guards that they have, and it's going to be hard for me to pick that one.
I want to see John Curtis in the playoffs, see how they kind of react with some adversity. Or John Curtis, call it what it is. The old Division I was a lot easier than what it is now. There's a lot of buys. You win one game, you're in the top 28. That's not the case this year. Second round, looking like it could be a little tougher. Third round is definitely going to be tougher. Like, they're not a shoe-in to beat Liberty. I would like to see how they kind of handle adversity and stuff like that. I think they are getting healthier, so that could be a big input as well if they're able to add another two pieces to that rotation. I think that definitely kind of gives them the edge. But John Curtis it's been the John Curtis Invitational, so I think it's still the John Curtis Invitational until somebody knocks them off. Like, you put that target on your back by winning, I believe it's 6 straight. I think you got to give them the nod no matter what until somebody knocks them off. Like, they're in order to beat a man, you got to beat the man. So I think John Curtis is the man. I think everyone else is trying to catch up with him. Bottom half of the bracket gets even more interesting. St. Thomas More, Ash. I do think that is a very interesting matchup. Like we talked about before, St. Thomas More is really good. They match up with everybody really good. But because of that, I don't believe they're going to be able to blow a ton of teams out. I think this is a harder matchup for them in this round than whoever they end up drawing in the next round, just because of matchups. So do see St. Thomas More advancing here. I think the game could be closer than some people may expect, but I think that experience that St. Thomas More brings with multiple runs to the top 28 state championships and stuff like that with kids that are on this roster, I think they're going to be able to have enough in the tank to kind of get by Ash, but I do think that game's going to be single digits closer than some people may think. Next up, Woodlawn Easton. Again, Easton losing one of their top guards. This game, man, is going to be interesting. Again, that's one that I'm trying to get to tomorrow to make that LGR game of the week. It's supposed to be at 3 o'clock at McDonald 35. It's tough, man. I don't see a lot of fans coming to that game from Easton. I think Woodlawn could bring just as many fans. Again, with Mardi Gras and everything else like that, it is hard to get people, and especially kids, to come out to games. So with that being said, I don't think home court advantage is a lot. We talked about going into Easton and winning at Easton. Now you're playing the game at 35. I don't think you have a ton of fans because, people being out of school and everything. I think that game could really go either way. Just similar to how Chalmette and Ruston was. in the first round. Huntington, I think, is going to be able to kind of cruise in that one just with the guard play. And then Lafayette, same thing as well. What's your thoughts, man? You got anything else to add to that one?
Nah, man, I think we touched on it last week when we were on here. That Alexandria St. Thomas More. I think Alexandria got a really good draw, bro. Really good draw. And I could see a possible upset there. If we're talking seedings, I could see Alexandria beating St. Thomas More. I'm not going to disrespect St. Thomas More at all. They've had a great season. Coach Stroney has put together a wonderful season with those kids. Get them top 3. But that's just the matchups. Matchups sometimes make, you know what I mean. So games. So and Huntington. They're anxious, man. They've been working hard. I've talked to some people. They've been in the gym nonstop, just getting it in. They're one of those teams up north that's just anxious to play. Freshman sensation Kendall Graham talked to some people that's around her, and she's just, her first playoff experience. She's just ready to go. I think, like you said, they'll be too much for Acadiana. And then Lafayette's going Crystal Narcisse, man. But Huntington, Lafayette quarterfinals.
Yep. Who you got? No pressure. Who you got?
I plan, man. Listen, I plan on driving down to that game, bro. If it comes to that game, I plan on being in the building. And man, I've said it, and I love Huntington. I've been touting Huntington all year, but I just think, me personally, I just think it's a bad matchup for them size-wise. They may prove me wrong, and they may shut me up, and I may never be able to go to Raspberry Lane again. But I love Huntington and Coach Shine and Coach Ricky, man, and what they're doing. The matchup is the only thing I'm concerned about there. So I'm not gonna pick it. I'm not gonna pick it just in case. You know what I mean? But the matchup.
Yeah, I agree, man. At Lafayette, adding Blackwell is just a big difference. But then on the top side, I think whoever comes out of that St. Thomas More Ash is going to be the favorite to advance into the quarterfinals. But again, that's going to be interesting as well. If Ash does happen to upset St. Thomas More, whoever wins, Woodlawn or Easton, would again have a quarterfinal game. Again, that's a tough place to go into. So I guess I could see if Ash does upset St. Thomas More, they would still be a slight underdog in the next round. But I do think the top half of that bracket is a little bit stronger than the second little slot there. Definitely a good point here by Mr. Whitaker, because Scotlandville has been playing the best ball since the second half of the Walker game. We actually live streamed that one, man. And it was really on the first quarter. For whatever reason, Scotlandville was kind of sleepwalking in the first quarter. I think second, third, and fourth, if I could go back and recall, I think it was like a 4-6 point game, something like that, between that. So Scotlandville is definitely taking their game to the next level. And it's just good to see all the talent here in Division One on both non-select and select side. A lot of good basketball being played, a lot of really good second round games, and a lot of really good quarterfinal games. So it's going to be a really fun week, man. Again, guys, appreciate everybody for joining us. If you could click the share button, like the page, like the stream, let everybody know we're live here. If you can tag some people, as well as let them know we're live on youtube.com/LGR basketball. The more you guys comment, the more you guys kind of go back and forth, the better it kind of helps everybody. It helps us continue to get the conversation started, which is the most important thing. But it also helps us continue to grow this platform. So we're going to advance into Division 2, public school side, non-select. Top half of the bracket, man. This is definitely going to be a fun little breakdown here. I think these games get a lot closer than what they were in the first round. What's your thoughts, kind of recapping the first round as well as talking about second?
Well, the first round looks like they like you said, they were a lot closer than seedings would have suggested they should have been. Except from the outlier there with Bastrop and Minden and the LaGrange Pearl River, everything else was kind of close there.
Yep.
Top half of that bracket, man. Second round, Wiseman, Abbeville, Church Point, Bastrop. I got an all Monroe. Wiseman's just too much for anybody right now. I just think Wiseman could possibly, if they were Division 1 non-select, Corey Arnold would be having a fit right now trying to figure out how to stop them. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
so,
Brittany Burton is a
so
difference,
yeah,
man.
yeah. Brittany Burns are different. So I got Wiseman all the way, on the top half. That Monroe quarterfinal and them and Bastard. That's just got Wiseman there. I'll leave the bottom half with Lagrange with you.
Yeah, and so it's interesting. Lagrange Leesville is actually district opponents. So again, they've played each other recently. Lagrange won one, and Leesville actually won one. Right, so it's 1-1 right now, headed into second round. All the marbles. Again, I think a lot of people show up for that game. I think the student body comes out, helps support Lagrange. Again, it's their last game of the year, no matter what happens at their place. So I think that is a huge advantage for that 5 seed, as they know they're gonna have to go on the road. If they win, season's over. If they lose, so I think it's hard to beat the 5 seed, believe it or not. But I mean, Leesville has the ability to do it. I think Lagrange is gonna be super locked in here. But I actually have Church Point beating Basher. Might get a little bit of slack from that. I think Church Point has been a team that's been consistent, has improved from years past. Just seeing them and Basher, both teams have really improved program wise. Could just see that game going either way. Basher's probably a slight favorite just because they're at home, but I like to throw a couple upsets out there. Could see Church Point coming away with a win there. This gets us down to the bottom half of the bracket, second quarterfinals. Well, before we get to that, Carroll and South Bow. I think Carroll does have the ability to match up with anybody. I don't think that's a good matchup for South Bow. But I think they're going to be prepared enough, and coach is going to scheme enough. She does a great job over there. I think she'll be able to scheme enough to get the ball out of the primary ball handlers of Carroll. Somebody else on the Carroll's team is going to have to step up. It's not going to be able to be the 1-2 kind of punch that they may have, or the one-man punch that she can really break down anybody. But I think they're going to get the ball out of her hands. Somebody else is going to have to beat them, especially against their press and stuff. So I think South Bow would just wear them down. And again, South Bow is a tough place to win at. And then you got Lagrange at South Bow for a shot at getting back to the top 28. I'm going to lean towards the home
I'm taking
team
my
there.
boy LaKing.
I already know that, man.
I'm going with the Lady Gators on that one, man. I may get a little slack from down South Louisiana with that South Bow crowd, but I'm taking the Lady Gators on that, man. If they play with the intensity that I've seen those kids play with earlier this year, I think they got potential there to go in the South Bow and get that one.
Yep, absolutely. And we got a lot of Wasserman fans that tune into stuff like this. So shout out to Wasserman, man. We're not talking a lot about you guys. It's the same thing kind of happens with all the other 1 seeds, Walker and everybody else. Parkway, we don't talk a lot about them at this point right now. It's no discredit to you guys. You guys have a great program. We believe like this comment here is going to be a pretty big win. But we did talk about Brittany Burton, man. Shout out to Brittany Burton. I think she kind of goes from kind of somebody that's not really on anyone's radar to really being on a Division I radar, just with her size, hands, and everything else. So shout out to Brittany. Definitely tell she's been putting in some work. So all the Wasserman team, the fan base, everything, just keep rolling, rocking and rolling. Enjoy these next 2 games at home. And hey, end of the day, we'll see you at the top 28. We put in our applications the other day.
Exactly.
Moving down to the bottom half, man, some interesting matchups. I think we'll probably see some more blowouts in this end. Bruley, I think their guard play, their press, and everything is just going to be too much for Northwest. Northwest matches up with some good teams. They match up with a few teams. They did get the upset in the first round. Just a lot of experience and stuff like that. So that doesn't really shock me at all. But I think Bruley's just going to be too much. North Vermilion, this is a cool one here. These teams are less than 40 miles away. You don't see that a lot in the playoffs where teams are that close to where they're not district opponents, but they're still close enough. So a quick 40-minute drive. They'll be able to play each other. Should be a great crowd there on hand. Again, North Vermilion, it's their last home game no matter what, win, lose, or draw. I think they're going to have a great turnout. I think that's going to be the reason why North Vermilion comes away with this one. Again, that program's been continuing to be on the rise. Then it gets to the next one, 7 versus 10. I'll let you talk about that one. I'll give my thoughts because I already talked about it.
Well, I hadn't seen those two, so you go ahead.
Yeah, so Both teams have done a great job. It's unfortunate that these two teams had to play each other in the playoffs. West Feliciana has done a great job building their program. I didn't expect them to compete and be a 7 seed, much less fight for a district title. They would have taken down Bruley. They would have been, a top 5 seed, which would have been really impressive. Iota is also doing kind of the same thing. They get a big win versus Laranja. Been playing some really good basketball here lately. Got some kids back. I think I'm seeing the upset here in Iota. But with that being said, shout out to both these teams, both these programs. Just some really good basketball that they're being played. I think they both overachieved at the end of the day. No matter whoever wins, certainly overachieved. Whoever loses, I still believe that they overachieved. Then you got the Albany versus Ellender matchup. Really tough draw for Albany. Seeing Ellender in their first game of the tournament. Again, I think we talked about it last time. I think this whole section of the bracket is really tough between West Feliciana, Iota, really good teams. I think they're better than their seeds. Ellender is better than their seeds. So Albany's going to have to come through some tough games to get to the top 28. But I see Albany kind of cruising with Ellender. They're just going to be able to wear them down. Albany's depth is going to be the difference, man. Albany's depth is just so deep. One of the deepest teams in the state. She'll play 10, 11 girls and not miss a beat. And you saw that against Walker. They played 10 girls versus Walker. I feel like if they can play 10 versus Walker, they can play 10 versus anybody in the state. So Albany's depth is going to allow them to kind of cruise to the top 28. You got anything else on this one?
Nah, man. I think you hit it right on the money with the Wasman and the Albany points.
Cool. All right, let's move on to the next one. What is this one? Division 2 select? No, right? No, it's supposed to be LCA. Where's LCA at? Did I miss LCA?
Yeah, we're supposed to be on LCA right now. No, we're supposed to be on Division 2 select.
Yeah, it's LCA, huh?
Yeah, you're right.
I must have switched it to Newman for some reason. Let me see if I can find the old one. Let's see. All right, we're gonna have to go with this one then. This is from last week. So who won? Bunky David Thibodeau. Forgot.
Yeah, you got me on the spot now, bro.
I don't have my phone on me either. I think
I can pull it up.
I think David Thibodeau won that game. Edie White won the other one. Washington Marion took Bolton down to the wire, so Bolton advanced there. And then I believe Charlton Catholic won. Again, this has just been the LCA Classic, the LCA Invitational forever. So it's again, whenever in order to beat a man, you got to beat the man. I'm not sure who can really compete with LCA. I do think Vanderbilt Catholic will have a shot at it. Their physicality, I think, gives them an opportunity if the officials don't really take them out of the game. Vanderbilt Catholic just plays so physical, so I think that is one team that can compete with LCA. St. Louis Catholic is also on the bottom side of here. Again, we talked about it before. Keep talking about it. Playoff P, she kind of moves it up a little bit, turns it up whenever it gets into the playoffs time. Yeah, 6'5". I think he's talking about Brittany Burton here. Brittany Burton's definitely moving up, man.
Yeah. She's moving up. Yeah, so you're gonna have David Thibodeau there playing Archbishop Hannah. Thibodeau beat Bunky pretty handily, upset. And then you got Northside versus Bolton there. I think you said that. And then you got Peabody versus Turlin Catholic on that top side there. So, man, if we had to go with it, you take Lafayette Christian there, and then Archbishop probably. And then I like what Northside has done this year. I didn't even know they can look like they come out of nowhere, man. That's put together. They got a new coach. Got them playing with some heart, and then you got Peabody. Yep. I know you like Peabody. I know you've seen them earlier this year. District champs for the first time last year, district champs this year, back to back. Coach is doing a good job building that program the right way. So I got them, in the quarters there.
Yeah, that's going to be fun, man, for sure. This is going to be an interesting little deal here. If Archbishop Hannum is able to make it to the quarterfinals from where that program's came, that's just unbelievable. Coach John, what he's done over there, getting those girls to really buy into what it is that he's selling. So that's going to be a huge game for them in the second round. Really hope that everyone kind of shows up to that one. But with that being said, playing David Thibodeau, saw David Thibodeau this summer. They came a long ways to be a 24 seed and to go on the road in the first round. Now have to go again on the road in the second round. I mean, that tells a lot about the team and the adversity that they've been through. Could see that game really going either way. Hannon has a lot of confidence. David Thibodeau's got to have a ton of confidence coming off of a road win. And then this is where we get into those buys, right? So Hannon hasn't played a game in 10, 12 days. David Thibodeau has had their biggest win of the season, so they're coming into this game. I think it's gonna depend a lot on the fans, man. If the fans and the environment shows up and really rallies behind Hannon, I think you can kind of lean their way. But if David Thibodeau's able to come in there and punch him in the mouth, and everyone's worried about Mardi Gras and everything else, that's again a little closer towards us. I can see that one going either way, honestly. So that's gonna be a fun one to see for sure. Northside versus Bolton. I think Northside is just gonna be too much length, too much size. That it's going to be hard for Bolton to score. So I can see Northside winning that one. And then Peabody versus Northside in the quarterfinals. Again, man, with just Peabody's everything on the line, everything that they've been building for all these years at that quarterfinal game, that's going to be a really fun environment. Shout out to Northside, Coach Amanda, what she's doing, former college basketball coach. I mean, really good. And you can see, that's going to be a coaching matchup, and that's going to be a program matchup where both teams are trying to punch their ticket to the top 28 in a long, long time. So it's going to be really fun. This is a really good bracket. Of course, LCA is at a whole nother level, but there's a lot of new names here. A lot of new names. Bottom half of the bracket. Again, let's get some comments up here. David Thibodeau starting 8th grade. Dang, that's big time. Coach Jones, what's her name from David Thibodeau? Someone was just asking me about I feel like the 8th. They're asking me on my thoughts on the 8th grade class. Bottom half of the bracket. Booker T. Washington had a big win.
Yeah, they came in. They came into New Orleans, right, and made the major upset, 63 to 30 over George Washington Carver. Man, that's big for this area. We're all excited in the North with Booker T, Coach Wynn, and those kids that he has. They're his main group is juniors, I think, maybe. And so they're looking to try to build something for this year and then go on the next year. So that was a big win for them to travel down to New Orleans, 6 hours down the road, and get that win there. So we're all excited in the North here in Shreveport about Booker T. I want to see that matchup between how they respond now against playoff P. Because I was having that conversation with somebody that's like, well, Paris, she's been dropping like 45, 50 a night. So, you know what I mean? So we're going to see. It's going to be a tough matchup to see who can guard it because Booker T's kind of undersized. And we're going to see who's going to step up and guard playoff P.
Yep, for sure. And, with this comment here talking about Gabby Link as well, I mean, you can't just box in one Paris and leave Gabby open. You can't just play 2-3 zone and let Paris or Gabby open on the wings. Definitely going to be, it's a good combination there whenever you have a really good player. You see it with LeBron James and everything. Like, you want to surround him with shooters. Whenever you're able to put, Gabby alongside of Paris, I believe there's one game where Gabby made like 8 threes early in the season. So definitely keep an eye on number 22, anybody that is going up against St. Louis Catholic. But now that game's going to be at McNeese. I think St. Louis Catholic is just really tough to beat at McNeese. So their gym's still under construction after the recent hurricanes and everything. So St. Louis is playing at McNeese. They'll win that game. They'll advance into the next round. Kenner Discovery won against Madison Prep. They'll play De La Salle. De La Salle is going to be too much to ask there. I think the interesting matchup, De La Salle at St. Louis Catholic. Again, got to give a nod to Paris and St. Louis just with the experience. Again, De La Salle making that jump to the quarterfinals multiple years now will definitely close the gap. I could see them winning there. I think it'll be a lot closer than what it has been in the past quarterfinals for them. But I think St. Louis will punch their ticket. Looking at the bottom half there, St. Michael's with an upset against Buckeye. I mean, St. Michael's had a huge win there. Again, a lot of confidence coming in. Buckeye sat out for 12, 13 days now. Can St. Michael's come in hot and jump out on Buckeye? That's something to keep an eye on. These teams that went on the road in the first round, their opponent is a 7 or 8 seed with a bye. That's going to be interesting, man. To see if they can compete and if Buckeye, the Hannons of the world, if they're rocking and rolling and really locked in, quarter one. Then we had Cabrini upset Booker T. Washington, and they're going to take on Vanderbilt Catholic. Vanderbilt Catholic's going to be too much. Vanderbilt Catholic will just kind of cruise into the top 28 here. They're just going to be too much, too physical until they'll play either St. Louis or De La Salle. You see anything else?
Ready man, we're good. We're good.
Cool. Let's see. Into the next one, Division III non-select. You go ahead and take it away with us in the top hat. Let me get into the actual the other.
Patterson went in the Mansfield and beat them. Yeah. Patterson came up to North Louisiana and beat Mansfield and then so you got Rose Pine against Patterson. I'm pretty sure Rose Pine will cruise there. And then Pine and West St. Mary's. Man, you're gonna have to talk about that one.
Yeah, so I mean, Pine is interesting because again, I keep going back to I really like Springfield, and Springfield is similar to St. Thomas More. Springfield can match up with anybody in this entire bracket. St. Thomas More can match up with anybody in the entire bracket, but they're not really gonna be elite and able to blow out every team as well. So it's an advantage, disadvantage. They can beat anybody. They can lose to a couple teams. I think Pine is a case in that because Pine was able to beat Springfield early in the season. That is a really good win. And I think they had a really good win in the first round. They are going on the road, but I see an upset there. I see Pine coming on the road there. And I could even see Pine giving Rose Pine a run for the money, but it's quarterfinals at Rose Pine. Again, that's what we're talking about, hostile environments. It's going to be very difficult to win a quarterfinal game at a place like that. Just where there's so much fans, so much energy, and the home team feeds off that energy. And into the next one, man, Union Parish versus St. Helena. St. Helena ran a meet down to the wire. So I got a lot of credit. Hats off to them. Union Parish has won a ton of games. I don't know. I could see that going either way, man.
Yeah, and that goes back. I think we addressed that a couple of weeks back when we were on when Union Parish went up against Wiseman, and then you kind of saw who. Okay. So if I'll be willing to go. I don't know, a limb there, like you said, go either way. Maybe St. Helena can get that upset there. Come up north and get that upset.
Yeah, and again, I'm going to challenge the 5 seeds and their crowds, man. You've got to show up tomorrow night. No matter what, that's the girls' last game of the season. The 5 seeds have got to show up. That's the hardest really matchup. 5 versus 12 is the closest as far as rankings and stuff like that. That's technically the hardest game. So the 5 seed does not have a home game. It's their last home game. Win, lose, or draw, you've got to show up. I think if there's not a big crowd there, I think St. Helena will travel a little bit, making a run this far. It's been a while. I could see an upset if there's no home court advantage as far as fans are really locked in. If there is a home court advantage, a little hostile environment. Again, St. Helena went into a meet, which is a really good environment, and they were able to compete against them. With seeing that, I could see them compete against anybody. So I'm just kind of interested to see what goes on here. I kind of give the edge to Union Parish, but if their fans don't show up, I can see an upset. Fred Settlement versus Westlake. Just hadn't seen Westlake enough. Again, guards win games. I'm going to give the nod to Fred Settlement and the freshman guard that they have there. Fred Settlement is going to be a name that we're going to see a lot in this division as we do move forward. But moving down to the bottom half, Springfield, I think they're just a tough matchup for Port Allen. I did see the Port Allen versus Richwood game being really close. But I think Springfield is just a notch above those two teams. So I'll see them advancing. Winfield versus Sterlington, man. Who you like in that one? I know you've seen Winfield. That's gonna be a good one, I think.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good game. Winfield's got the potential to go up, to that area and get a win. Again, it's gonna come down to crowd participation, I believe. I know Coach Armstrong was on social media the other day asking their crowd to follow. It makes a difference. It makes a difference when the crowd follows. It could go either way, man. Is Winfield ready yet? I'm not sure.
They've showed up in the big games, especially against Lakeview. Like Lakeview is a team that we would probably say would beat Sterlington.
Correct.
Winfield is a team that showed up in big games, and you see the first round playoff game. I mean, they beat them by nearly 50 points. It's probably the largest victory in the first round. I think again, Coach Armstrong is doing a great job. I think he's going to have those kids so hyped up. You know what I'm saying? So ready to go. That I could see an upset here for sure.
I got you.
With someone commented about Westlake versus French Summit being a good one. I haven't seen Westlake. French Summit, the reason why I do like them, and you can comment and let me know about Westlake and how they match up. French Summit has a big that is soft hands, back to the basket, skilled around the basket, and they have a really, really good point guard. Take you out the bounce, taking high ball screener, a whole lot of different stuff where if they got to beat you on the inside and need a bucket, they can throw it inside. The big can make a play, and then game on the line, they can just give the ball to the guard and literally get out of the way. You don't have to run plays, which at times in the playoffs, plays break down. Players got to make plays. So I think that's why French Sentiment, really matches up to a lot of teams. They have a true post back to the basket, and they have a true potential D1 point guard at the but I mean, she is a freshman, so that's gonna be something that be interesting. Winfield's a sleeper, definitely agree. What about the next one, man? Voiles versus Bogalusa. Bogalusa, man, is playing some good basketball. They continue to improve. This is an interesting matchup. I would say experience goes to Voiles. Bogalusa having to go on the road. It's probably a little bit of an underdog here. I wouldn't be surprised with an upset. Bogalusa can kind of shoot their way into that. You see they scored 72 points. They can score some points here, so this could be a high-scoring game. I would lean towards the Voiles, and then A-Meat. I think cruises handily over Doyle. Again, shout out to Doyle, man. At a 15 seed from what they lost. Young team. I think they're definitely growing, had a good season. What's your thoughts there? Voiles, Bogalusa, and then possible quarterfinal matchups.
Yeah, man. Vols, I got them taking that one. But like you said, if Bogalusa's gonna score 72 points, Vols gonna have to, up their output there, to keep up.
Yep.
And then Doyle A-Meat, that's Doyle A-Meat at the bottom, correct?
Yep.
And I got A-Meat all the way on that one, and then A-Meat will cruise into the semis against any one of Vols or Bogalusa's. Just the job that Coach Pierre has done, losing her daughter to Southeastern, and everybody thought A-Meat's gonna struggle. A-Meat's not gonna be the same. And you got Haley Bromford, man, and the other supporting cast has just said, "Watch this." You see what I'm saying? And so they've just been on a tear. They're in that tough district with Albany. Really could have came down either way. I think Albany won the district, correct? No,
Albany
won the district. Who won?
Yeah, they split 1-1.
Albany. Yeah, Albany split. Yeah, gotcha. So that.
And I think it was interesting is A-Meat versus Springfield potential matchup in the semifinals. So going back to the top half, French Settlement being the 4 seed, I think matches up a little bit better with A-Meat. I think Springfield, again, like St. Thomas More, just doesn't match up with some teams that are elite at one position. I think A-Meat's got a better guard play, so it's just a tough matchup for Springfield. I think Springfield matches up better with Rose Pine than they do with A-Meat. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. And Springfield hasn't won district in who knows how long, since forever ago. So for them to make a run to the top 28, it's going to be interesting to see who shows up and the crowd on hand. Both teams will literally be within like 10 miles from the arena. So it's going to be interesting. Looking forward to that potential matchup. But yeah, Coach, we
Yeah,
definitely
man, I
know
didn't.
Winfield beat Lakeview last game they played.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. That was at Winfield then, correct? If I'm not mistaken, then
Yep.
that was good. Good job there, coach.
Yep, definitely. Moving on to the next one. Westlake has two good guards, twins on the team, sophomores, but don't think they can pull the upset. One of the twins can play. Yeah, so I mean that's guards win games at the end of the day. So it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be on French Settlement's um, freshman guard. So that's a lot to handle as a freshman. Of course, being at home definitely helps. Your chances there, but that's a lot to put on one person. So if you have multiple guards, it can definitely help you out. Moving into the next division, back to the select side of things. What you got here, man? Talk about the first round matchups as well as potential second, third.
Yeah, you got Covington took care of St. John, but they get the lucky draw of playing Lab.
Yeah,
So that's you go in, you take care of business first round, but you're looking at Southern Lab second round. I think Southern Lab's just going to be too much in that one. They're on a mission, back-to-back state champions. They're on that mission. And Sacred Heart took care of Lincoln Prep here in this area of the neck of the woods, and then Delta, they get Delta Charter. I have not seen neither one of those, so I'll defer to you on that one.
I haven't seen either one of those either. But again, that's what I'm talking. It's an interesting little matchup there where you got to sit out for 12 to 14 days, and then you got to play a game where the other team has already won by 30 something. So you got to have a lot of confidence. You win your first round game, you head into the second round where the other team's just sitting around. So I'm more interested in seeing that because it is so new. We've never had the 8 seed get a bye in these divisions here. So it's going to be interesting to see those kind of matchups. And then same thing with the bottom half. As McGee's going to travel to Central Catholic. But I mean, we've been talking about this division for a lot. It's Southern Lab versus Northwood Lena is what's projected. And can anyone else kind of compete with that? Southern Lab's done a great job of going around playing anybody and everybody in the state. Seems like Monday night they play at home, Tuesday night they play in Lake Charles, Wednesday night they play in New Orleans. Like they're going anywheres and everywheres and playing everybody. And I think because of that, they're going to be the favorite, just being battle tested all the way kind of through. I don't think Ouachita Christian will have enough, so I think they'll cruise to the state championship where, again, we'll get down to the bottom half of the bracket. Highland Baptist is somebody that I think can definitely compete with them. Northwood Lena, obviously, Northwood Lena being defending state champs, Highland Baptist having state championship experience as well. Hamilton
Christian, man. Hamilton Christian, yeah.
I think they're a year away. Maybe a year away, but the experience that they're gonna get, and they really get the best draw there is they don't have to play Northwood Lena or they don't have to play Southern Lab. So they got a good little draw where they got like the third best team in Highland Baptist. No discredit Highland Baptist, is not on the level of Lena and Lab, but Hamilton Christian will definitely gain some experience. If they win, great. If not, a lot of experience gained. But yeah, man, I mean, I think this division is just kind of those three teams are the only real three teams that have a chance to win state title. Any other thoughts on this division?
No, man. Cedar Creek, shout out to them, man. They're in our area up here in North Louisiana. They win a lot of ball games. They were in the, if I'm not mistaken, man, they were in the championship game last year. I can't remember. I think they were. So they're trying to, going to run into a buzzsaw there with Northwood Lena. But I think Coach Cooper, she'll have her girls prepared, and Allen and the supporting cast, and they'll walk into the semifinals.
For sure. I think I did skip over Division 3. Now someone is saying that because that was the one I had out of order here. We did Bruley Newman.
Division none.
Yeah. So, appreciate y'all catching that one. So here, again, we already have some teams that have already played games. A lot of these teams have ties to New Orleans, so they played on Friday. They actually played early before the playing date. They played on, I believe it was Wednesday. Looks like some people even played. Yeah, Wednesday. So they were able to play on Friday. So you see Parkview Baptist and St. Thomas Aquinas have already advanced to the quarterfinals. Newman, I think, is going to be able to kind of slide through here. Don't see really anybody able to compete with the two forwards that they have. Really the best combination of forwards. So it's just a tough matchup for really anybody, especially in that 8 to 9 bracket. Really, until we get to St. Thomas Aquinas. If I'm Newman, I want to see Parkview come away with the upset. I'm not sure if they'll be able to. St. Thomas Aquinas has a freshman, again, D1 potential, with a senior at guard as well, and a solid supporting cast around them, and they play a good style of basketball. I see Newman versus St. Thomas Aquinas. Have been kind of saying that. You want to add anything else to that in this division? I mean, the top half?
Like you said, Newman, St. Thomas Aquinas there, bro.
Yeah, so this was a little interesting because they've already played some games. So now again, Parkview versus St. Thomas Aquinas has already scheduled their game for Wednesday, so they'll even be ahead of everything. So it's interesting because there's Mardi Gras and all this other stuff going down. So a lot of these teams are playing games early,
and it's gonna help out.
Huh?
Yeah, it's gonna help out too because God forbid you get an injury like a tweak ankle or something, gives you another day to kind of get it right back right.
True, and you can go out and scout the team live in person and everything for the teams that won. So it's definitely a huge benefit to do that. So we're looking here at Sacred Heart and Glen Oaks. That game is actually today. Looks like that's interesting that Sacred Heart was able to play on a Sunday. That may be a mistake on 219, but if anybody knows what the score of that game is, so they can let us know. I like Glen Oaks there. Sacred Heart's had a great season. Coach has done a great job her first year there, coming over from another school, and now she's at Sacred Heart. She's done a great job building that program. They won district for the first time in years. So they've had a great season. They can definitely compete with Glen Oaks, but I think Glen Oaks is just at another level right now. I think Glen Oaks is one of those sleeper teams. If they are able to advance, could play Menard. I think they could give Menard a run for their money. Although I think Menard's probably the most consistent team in this division. Even more consistent than St. Thomas Aquinas, more consistent than Newman. Night in, night out, Menard has been playing some really good basketball. I was able to watch them a lot with the live streams that 446 Sports does. So shout out to them. Broadcasting a lot of their home games, allowing people to watch those. Episcopal advanced. They're in the quarterfinals. Houma Christian, Calvary Baptist went on the road and won. Houma Christian is a team that's scheduled really, really well. Coach Luke's done a good job of preparing her program and building it the right way. They're very young. So for them to advance into the next round, play Episcopal, a team that played for a state title last year, that's going to be interesting to see who does pull that one out in the quarterfinals. You got young up and coming versus a team that lost a lot from last year, but still has some experience on the team. Yeah, man. What's your thoughts? Glen Oaks, Menard, and Houma Christian versus Episcopal.
Yeah. Menard, you got Menard going past Loyola Prep. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Shout out to, man, I was reading the piece, even though I'm here in Orlando, I was reading a piece today on Loyola Prep. They're very good kid that they got. I did not know she was from Ukraine, man.
Wow.
Yeah, she's from Ukraine. And so she was adopted into a family here in North Louisiana, man. And she's a good kid. I saw her at the Dalton Doc Edwards, and she really played well for them. I think she was one of our standout features of that awesome. Doc Edwards tournament. And but yeah, that's just the entering piece I wanted to throw out there. Shout out to Loyola Prep. But Holy Menard, get past them, man, and I got them going against Green Oaks. I did talk to somebody that said that, hey, because I was wondering about Menard, man, and they just said, if you can match their style of play, you may give them they like to get up and down, and try to score a lot of buckets. If you can match that, you may give them fits. So if anybody, Glen Oaks, Sacred Heart, can match that. If not, then Holy Menard all the way to the semis.
For sure. It's gonna be interesting, man. Again, going back to the top half, I think your state champion comes out of the winner of St. Thomas Aquinas and Newman. Although, like I said, Menard has been very, very consistent. But I think your state championship game is going to be there in the semifinals. As St. Thomas Aquinas is going to take on St. Thomas Aquinas is going to take on Newman. But moving on to the next bracket. Kind of got a little confused. Everybody, let me know if I have skipped anybody here. But this is
Which one did we just do?
This is we haven't done this one yet. This is what is this? 4, 3 non-select.
It's Division 4.
4,
This
yeah.
is Division 4, yeah.
Non-select, yeah. So,
Yeah.
White Castle again. They advance with a bye. They'll take on Elton. I think this game could be closer than people may think. Right? It was seen in 17 versus a 1. I'm gonna give the nod to White Castle, but I could see Elton competing here. Arguably, again, game of the week game next in line, Oakdale versus Lake Arthur. Man, that is going to be a fun one. I think that'll be a packed house. Again, it goes back to Lake Arthur. You have a home game, guaranteed to not have a home game next round, quarterfinals, assuming White Castle wins, of course. I think you got to make sure your crowd shows up, man, because I think Oakdale is going to travel. I think this could be a split crowd, could kind of go back and forth. Both teams going to be teams that feed off of the crowd. I think the crowd is going to be a big deciding factor here. Could see that game going either way. I'm not going to pick a team right now. I'll wait till the crystal ball comes out. But then Homer versus Maryville, I'm going to give the nod to Homer, man. Just the growth that they've made throughout the season. Continue that trajectory upwards. I'm going to go with Homer.
Yeah, man.
Go ahead.
Nobody in North Louisiana would pick Homer to be, potential quarterfinals, man. So they've surprised a lot of people up here as well, especially in the north west part of Louisiana. Maybe so perhaps over there. They're close to the northeast side. So shout out to Homer, man. Like you said, they've done a good job. Coach has done a good job. I know him. He's a friend of mine. I'm going to go with Homer as well.
What about Arcadia and Homer quarterfinals? Shout out to South Platte.
Arcadia,
First of all, South Platte got that win first round. They ended up losing one of their better players. So for them to rally behind that and still win that game, shout out to South Platte. Definitely had a great season. Definitely saw them going a little deeper, having a better season overall. With one of their better players getting hurt, for them to still make it to the second round is huge. But quarterfinal matchup, man, Homer, Arcadia, what you got?
That'll be the third round of that. Homer and Arcadia. They play in the same district. Arcadia got the district title. Well, maybe it's just the fourth time. Maybe I think they made a play for a split and had to decide who was the district champ. So, yeah, so it may be the third. Somebody correct us in the comments and let us know. But Arcadia got the last matchup to win the district title. Man, I just love what Arcadia got. They're young. They have that kid in the 8th grade, but then they have the junior that they have as well that transferred in, man, and she was eligible. And I think they just got it rolling. And I'm gonna go Arcadia over Homer, man. But that part of the northeast part of the state, that in Arcadia, it's about an hour and 15 from us in Shreveport. That's probably going to be a gym, probably going to be packed. The brand new gym they got in Arcadia, it just opened up in January. And trust me, it's going to be packed.
That's big time. That's what it's all about, man. And that's what you see a lot in this classification, man. You're going to see gyms are going to be packed. White Castle should be packed. Lake Arthur definitely will be packed. Homer should be packed. You're saying Arcadia is going to be packed. Like, these gyms are going to be freaking packed, especially quarterfinal matchups. Did you pick Oakdale, Lake Arthur, man? I'm putting you on the spot, man.
I didn't. Man, I'm going to go with Coach Skeeto and Lake Arthur, man. The Skeeto kid, man, she just reached her 2,000 points. I think it was, wasn't it, the other day? Experience, championship experience, man. I'm going to go with Lake Arthur.
Yep, absolutely, man. Shout out to Skiddo, 2024 guard, point guard. Getting it done as a point guard, has good vision, a ton of assisting Brister throughout her career. So for her to have 2,000 points as a junior is
Yeah,
definitely an
that's what I'm saying.
accomplishment that needs to be appreciated, man. Definitely give her her flowers. So
She can easily
nonetheless, man,
she can
I think
easily
go ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Nonetheless, I mean, I think we're both winners no matter what. I mean, everyone's winners with it. Lake Arthur, Oakdale, second round matchup, Pac Gym. I mean, both programs, great season no matter what. I think everybody wins in that one.
Yeah. So you there?
Yep.
Oh, okay. So down to Oak Grove, Montgomery. Who you got there, bro?
Yeah, I mean, I've been ranting and raving about Oak Grove, so I can't get off that train just yet. I think Oak Grove is just going to be too tough of a matchup for anyone really in that area of the bracket. I think they'll kind of slide their way all the way to the top 28. And then it's going to be really interesting as they match up with Lakeview. As Lakeview does have some size on the inside. They don't have enough size to really compete with Oak Grove, but they do have, I guess, the size or good enough size at this division. So Washington, can she kind of get going? Can she still score around the big on the inside? That's going to be interesting, especially on that bigger court. East Beauregard and Oberlin, I could see an upset here with Oberlin really ability to shoot it. That's going to be the tell of the tape. They're able to make several threes, kind of keep them in the game. I think they can upset East Bow. Wouldn't be surprised if East Bow wins by double digits, but I think Oberlin does have a shooter's chance here. What's your thoughts, man? I guess kind of on the bottom half here. Who do you see coming out of it? Lakeview, Oak Grove, or anybody else?
Yeah, I see Lakeview Oak Grove in the semis. Lakeview Oak Grove in the semis, man. Lakeview definitely a roll through Mangum. I would assume. I think Washington would probably have to have a bad game for them to lose that one, but they're in Lakeview. That crowd gets rowdy as well. And
For sure.
one of those small little towns, Campty, Louisiana. Shout them out on the map, man. They shut down the town to support their team, man. So Lakeview's on a mission. He's definitely on a mission, and those girls on a mission. So I would go in the semis all the way. Chalk this one up 2-3 all the way through to the semis.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's gonna be a good game no matter what. Moving on to the next one, Division 5. Again, I don't have updated with this one for some reason, but we're gonna skip over this one just because the quarterfinals. This is the I actually got confused on this whenever releasing the brackets and stuff. These games won't be until 223. So 220, the regional games, or aka the second round for them, is actually due on Monday. So we're gonna skip over them. We'll highlight them either Tuesday or Wednesday whenever we come back to this. So moving on to Division 5. Oh, where's Division 5? Oh, I don't have the updated one. All right, we're gonna have to make this work.
Yeah, Division 5, you got Fairview Summerfield, man. Fairview Summerfield.
Yep. So Fairview is just again one of the top 10 teams in the state, regardless of classification. I think we've kind of seen that, and we all agree with that. I think the biggest matchup that I like here is Bell City versus Reeves. I actually
Yeah.
have Bell City upsetting Reeves. I wouldn't be surprised if Reeves wins by 10 or 15, but I just feel like Bell City's playing some good basketball. I think they've had the ability as the highest seed in this to be able to kind of compete with anyone, especially a double-digit seed that can kind of compete with really everyone in the division. I think Hicks is a really high seed that's able to compete with everybody, but it's not really going out on a limb with an upset. So I do see Bell City with a potential upset over Reeves. We did call the Pickin upset. Shout out to a lot of people that were kind of tuned in on that one. I like Midland though, man. I like Midland to come out of this one at the 4 seed with a rematch in the semifinals versus Fairview. With who knows what can happen. Hicks in the second round. Hicks versus Evans. Man, what are y'all thoughts on that? People in the comments. Yeah, we got some people commenting there. I don't know, man. I think you got to go with Hicks just with the experience and everything, and you know Reese with
Yeah, that
at the
is.
point guard position. I think Reese's able to really control the game. They've got a big on the inside as well. It goes back to that combination where you got a guard and a forward that can you can throw it inside, or Reese can make a play on the outside. I could see Hicks kind of cruising there, but I think that one might be a little closer than people may think. What's your thoughts, man? With the top half of this bracket?
Yeah, I got Hicks moving on to play Favu, man. And then that one in the quarterfinals is gonna be another good game.
Yeah.
Looks like we just got good games all over this bracket for this second round quarterfinals. And then I'll defer to you. You said the Reeves, Bell City. You got Bell City, Midland. I'm with you on the Midland game. But man, the one team I'm like kind of like you said a while ago. I've been on them all year, and I can't jump off of them now. And that's Gibbs and Coleman.
Yep.
They got they've been to the state title game last year. Those kids are young. They're just sophomores, I believe, and they're trying to make it. For the next 2 years, this year and the next two, with Somalia Sampson and Housley, man, Coach Housley. Really got something special there in Gibson Coleman, and Zawali and Akoko, I'm gonna take. That's gonna be interesting in itself. I could see Zawali going over to Anacoko, man, and winning that one.
Yep. Yep. For sure.
But who knows? And then you got Hathaway. Hathaway's on another level. I got Hathaway, Gislin Coleman semifinal.
Yep. I mean, this is a great comment here. Reese beat Bell City by 20 at the beginning of the season. I did see that. They beat Bell City 1 in overtime. Last meeting with a couple players. I did not know there's a couple players out, so that definitely makes things a little bit more difficult for Bell City. There's no disrespect. People are saying there's Reeves needs more respect. I mean, we can't go through chalk all the way through, I guess. It's more of a compliment to Bell City more than disrespect to Reeves. And I just think Bell City had a
We got to make it
double-digit
interesting.
seed. Yeah, Bell City has a double-digit seed, has the ability to kind of compete with these other teams. Not saying that they are the favorite, that they will win. I just think they have the ability to go in there and get a road win, which is crazy difficult. It is going to be so hard. I wouldn't be surprised if we see chalk all the way through. Because again, when you're talking about these small communities, they're not worried about whatever else is going on. Like they're worried about the game tomorrow, and they're locked in. That is their plans, right? So they're all going to come in, and we talk about hostile environments. That's all going to be hostile environments. Everybody's going to be literally on the edge of their seat, waiting and having a reaction to every single call, good, bad, or indifferent. There's going to be so much energy in there. It's going to be so difficult to go into a place and win on the road. With this comment here, man, Coach Mike, yeah, he's definitely doing a great job. Definitely experience will be a difference there for sure. Definitely not counting out Reeves, and I don't disagree with you with Anna Coco and Zawali being a great game. I think that's probably another potential game of the week matchup there. Could definitely see that one being a very close game going either way. I do have Anna Coco winning that one. Picking in Midland will be a good one. That's going to be interesting. If Picking can compete with Midland, I like Midland's. I think Midland's one of the few teams outside of Hathaway that can give Fairview a run for their money. So if saying Picking can upset them, that's going to be very interesting. What else we got? What else do you see kind of in the rest of this bracket? Man, Gibson
Man, it's
Coleman,
gonna be
Hathaway.
interesting.
What you see there?
Yeah, that's what I got. I got Gibson Coleman Hathaway. Man, I hadn't really seen Hathaway this year. I know you've talked about him a lot during our shows here. But I've seen, like I said, I've been on the Gibson Coleman train all year. I can't jump off now. And I just know Sampson. I've seen her. She took over that Doc Edwards tournament, man, just a baller. And she has not reached her ceiling yet. So she's definitely one of the ones that should be on college coaches' radar. So I'm gonna go Gibson Coleman until I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think again it goes back to, like I said, it's just gonna be so hard to go into these gyms and come away with a win, man. Like at this division, if you haven't seen it, if your team gets knocked out of the playoffs next round, or if you've already been knocked out, I highly suggest you getting in your car and driving to one of these games Thursday night. Because Thursday night quarterfinal game, whenever it comes down to whoever, you can pick literally any of them. Whichever one is closest would be the best game for you to go to. Because the environment, the energy is going to be crazy. Like I'm telling you, everyone's going to be sitting on the edge of their seat on every single call. Everything that happens in the game is going to be, and you'll be able to just sit back as a fan, not invested in anything, right? You'll be able to just kind of really appreciate the environment. Um, but man, just shout out to this whole division, this whole classification, B and C, and with the merger of B and C together, man, just ramps it up to a whole nother level. So I got a lot of
And,
respect
and,
for these communities.
and man, we got a comment in the comments. Vickers, one of our prime supporter, number one supporters, asked who do we pick? Fabiu Summerfield. I think we all going Fabiu there.
Yeah,
Vickers.
for sure.
I don't know. I don't know if you had went back and said that, but I saw that in the comments. So just to help him out on that one.
Yep, for sure, man. But again, guys, we really appreciate everybody for joining us, man. If you can, you can send us messages on Facebook, make some comments. You can Twitter, really anything like that. Send us updates, man. Score updates. I will try to get out tomorrow to live stream Woodlawn versus at Warren Easton. That game's gonna be at 3:00 again. A lot of parades and stuff going down here, so won't be able to do too many games in the afternoon, but you guys can tune into that one. But safe travels to everybody. A lot of people be on the road. A lot of games kind of all over the area, so a lot of people traveling. So safe travels to and from. And again, man, just enjoy this environment. A lot of these kids are pulling up for their last season game. Just enjoy. You talked about it last time. Enjoy the bus rides and all that stuff. But playoff time, man. It's a very important week. Louisiana girls basketball with the second round quarterfinals, and then next week is state championships. It freaking came here quick. Coach Kendrick, man, appreciate your time, man. You want to leave us with anything?
Man, just like you just said, man, girls enjoy the bus rides. I think we take that for granted. Those bus rides are, you'll talk about them for the next 20 years. You know what I mean? So enjoy, be locked in, leave it all on the floor. And good luck to everybody tomorrow back home.
Yep. Win, lose, or draw, man. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Like I said, shoot us some texts, some messages and stuff like that. Keep us updated on the scores. Tune into our social media. We'll try to be giving up as many updates as possible. And then we'll be back again either Tuesday or Wednesday with a recap of quarterfinal matchups, as those must be played by Thursday. And then boys playoffs, first round starts on Friday. Girls state championships next week. But until next time, man.